Good morning, all. This is Jack from Josh. This is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 20th of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm going to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own shots, and I'm not here to shoot trading signals. Right, there's a couple of things to say before we get started this morning. The first one is that the rest of the stats for this week are neutral, but we've got a holiday day on Monday, of course, with Memorial Day, and we've got 3 bullish dealing days, Tuesday through Thursday next week. And I'm bearing that in mind in terms of timings here. In terms of the pattern setup here, it's pretty obvious what's happening. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to finish forming and play out, but we've got 3. We've come down to my head and shoulder necklines, and we've got possible head and shoulders forming on ES, and NQ, and RTY. And on DAX, we've got a possible level top forming here on ESTX, of course. YM, we've got a possible small level top, which has broken down. And Nikkei, we've got a small level top, which broke down and has already made target. We could be forming a larger head and shoulders, but we've not really come close enough to the neckline for me to say that with any certainty. We will see how that goes. All right, but so really, my lean today is that we see some more rally. And then we see a drop, which would target approximately the 7,200 area. And I'm thinking that's really got a shot. So we will watch and see how that goes. But actually, I'm really liking that. All right. In terms of timings, I'd quite like to see us make most of that by the end of the week. So we shall see how that goes. All right, great. So let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And we've got on SPX, we're getting closer to the daily middle band. That's significant support when we reach it. So we've got significant support when we reach it, but I've got that in about the 72.89 area, and we have obviously an open RSI5 sell signal, and we've got an open RSI5 sell signal on Qs, and we've got an open weak RSI5 sell signal on Dia, and we've got an RSI14 sell signal, which is fixed on IWM. Dia broke down below the daily middle band yesterday at the close, only marginally, but nonetheless, I think significantly. So we are seeing some significant support breaks here on Dia and IWM at least. So we will see how it goes. In terms of the hourly charts, the hourly chart has reached the possible near-miss target on SPX, and we reached the possible near-miss target on the Qs. We've got some positive divergence on the 15-minute charts. We've got an RSI14 buy signal fix here on SPX. We've got an RSI14 buy signal fix here on the Qs. We've got an RSI14 buy signal fixed here on Dia. I'm liking this rally. In terms of where we are on ES, I'd be looking really, the ideal right shoulder high would be in the weak to pivot area, which is an area which has already got pretty decent, which has already shown pretty decent resistance so far. So we shall see whether we get there, and we'll see when we get there whether or not it fails there. I think there's a pretty good chance that we will see a decent fail not too far from there today, and that we will have at least a shot at playing out this head and shoulders, which would take us down into the basically 72.75 to 7,300 area. So is that right? No, it's the 71.75 to 7,200 area. Sorry. All right, looking at IWM. IWM, we've got on the daily chart, obviously we've actually managed to reach the daily lower band here, but we've also, more importantly, reached the possible head and shoulder neckline there. I'm looking for that right shoulder to form, and I would like that to form today. Could it take more than a day to form? Yeah, potentially. It could take a week. Looking at this one, it's on a slightly different scale to the others, but if it can get up into the right area, which would be in about the 280 area, then would it matter that it didn't take a week? Not really, no. In terms of the hourly charts, nothing. IWM, we've got an RSI14 buy signal fix there too. So I'm quite liking the upside into the week pivot today. We'll see how that goes. The other thing to mention today is, of course, we've got NVIDIA earnings tonight. Could we see an irrational reaction from there? Yes. Would it be the first time? No. So we're going to be watching that carefully. In terms of DAX, I am liking I'm liking a move to form a right shoulder here, but actually we're more or less in the right area for that on the daily chart already, so I'm not really looking for any particular target there. In terms of Nikkei, we're still holding the daily middle band. I'm expecting that to break soon. We've not reached the possible head and shoulder neckline area. Doesn't mean we can't form one, but it's going to be not a particularly pretty picture. Not really got any upside targets. I'm just watching the daily middle band as support. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. DX has been going up, although kind of not going up with any particular speed. We will see how that goes, but I'm liking more upside here as and when this consolidation is finished. I think this double top here is likely failing, and I think we're going to make it back to the retest this high at 100.6, and we've got an inflection point there. In terms of the other currencies, not seeing an awful lot, but the main ones I'm watching here are actually USD/JPY. We've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target to retest this high. Need to mention, of course, that we might see another government intervention as and when this gets there. In terms of USD CAD, we've got an IHS which is broken up with a target in the 1.387 area, and we will see how that goes. But I'm liking the upside a lot. In terms of Australian dollar and NZ, possibly forming head and shoulder patterns here. In terms of bonds, we've seen bonds a lot on the news. We've actually reached a yield on the 30-year, which hasn't been seen since about 2008. My inverted head and shoulders I've been talking about on the bigger picture is starting to break up here. I'm still bearish on bonds. I'm still expecting to see potentially an awful lot more downside over the summer. I think there's a decent chance of that happening. I think inflation's going to be going up. I think things could get pretty ugly. In terms of ZN, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed on ZB. I am wondering about a bit of a rally there, but we've not really seen anything on those lines so far. In terms of coil, we've got a sell signal here, but it's reached the possible near miss target. On CL, we've got a sell signal here, and that's reached the possible near miss target. On HO, we've got a sell signal here, and that's reached the possible near miss target. I'm thinking that may be enough, and we could just pull up from here. I am looking at a potential double bottom here on CL with resistance in the 102.75 area, and if so, this would have a target basically back up at the prior highs at slightly over 104. We shall see. I'm liking that setup. Whether or not it makes it, only the market can decide, but I'm liking it. In terms of the actually, I'll just show you one other thing very quickly. In terms of where we are in terms of optimism about these talks, this is the Premarket view of will Strait of Hormuz traffic return to normal by the end of June, and we're currently at a 26% chance. Has this risen much in recent days? It has not. We're at new lows for the month. So I'm not expecting to see an awful lot of optimism, and really, while oil prices can go down short term, bigger picture, I really think the only way really is up. But we will see. All right, great. Let's have a look at NG, which is getting pretty close to the IHS target in the 3.17 area. I think that will likely be made. GC, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed here, hasn't delivered anything so far, and we've got one on silver, hasn't reached the possible near miss target. Palladium hasn't really delivered anything so far, and we're getting pretty close to this low, retest this low. We came within ticks of it last night. In terms of platinum, 60-minute buy signal fixed as well, and HG 60-minute buy signal fixed as well. None of these have delivered much, but I'm thinking if equity is going to rally a bit today, maybe these will deliver something today. In terms of KC, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, possible bottoming action. Not really seen much action from that so far. SB, we've got a nice looking triangle forming here, and I'm expecting this to result in due course in a retest of this high here at 15.5. On CC, we've got head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target at the 3,500 area, and I'm not seeing anything suggesting really that won't reach target. In terms of CT, we've obviously seen a bit of a pullback after reaching the initial double bottom target on the bigger picture chart. So I'm thinking this is probably a bull flag forming. Lumber, still waiting for a big move down on equities to see if this pushes this back onto the downward track, which is the overall trend in my view. On ZW, ZW, we've seen a bit of a pullback and recovered most of it. Same on corn, same on soy. Soy, we've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 12.23 to 12.32 range, and I'm expecting to see a retest of this high here at about the 12.36 range, 12.35 range, I think. CL likely to resume the uptrend soon. Live cattle looking for a retest of this high here at 252, and HE continues to be a nail biter, made a marginal lower low here, but this could well be the second low of a double bottom. So we are waiting to see if that's going to deliver. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none, I think. No, hang on. Okay, of which we have none. In that case, I think it's a wrap. It should be an interesting day today. Watch out for that NVIDIA earnings after the close tonight. That would be a good moment to probably not have an open trade on, I suspect, or at least it'll be a risky moment to have an open trade on. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Cheers.